well, my name's Fox9, so again, I'm at Fox. Hair just got in my eye. But, welcome to a Invader Zim review. Unlike, my other Star Wars and stuff, since, you know, those are newer shows, these ones I did an entire recap of Samurai Jack, and one, because Invader Zim is apparently coming out, you know, they're gonna have an Invader Zim movie to, you know, kind of finish off the series, which that's actually a lot more like Ghost Planet, if any. Well, anyway, but since they're finishing that out, and like I thought, let me go back and rewatch all Invader Zim. Invader Zim in and of itself is a show that I watched rarely back when it was originally out, mostly because I watched it. I'm like, this show is horrifying. And it has some very dark happening in it. And, yeah. I watched this again, like, yeah. And also, mind you, back then also, I didn't like the original Land Before Times, which, again, was dark, horrifying, and kind of depressing and sad at times. But now, that is like my favorite, like, back then, my favorite Land Before Time was the one with the little purple T-Rex. I like the purple T-Rex. Now, my favorite is that Land Before Time, the original one, because that one's amazing. And this is kind of a similar thing. I really love this one. It is, like, if you love dark, again, like, when I point out, like, in the Starverse and stuff like that, when they have, like, the little bits of dark humor in through season 1, I'm just like, oh, that's really dark. But you go to Invader Zim, that's like a drop in the cesspool of the city, basically. Oh, Lord, I love that. I freaking love this show. If you don't know what Invader Zim is about, it's basically this alien race called the Urkins are sending out people out to go, sending out their soldiers to go invade other worlds and basically take them over. And this is the second attempt at this. But one invader who wasn't invited to this operation breaks in and basically says, "Give me a planet to rule." And what they're known as the tallest, the leaders of the Urkin race, basically say, "No, Zim." Also, FYI, one of them, I'm pretty sure, because it sounds like they like him, I'm pretty sure it's him, is the guy who voices Pleakley from Lilo and Stitch, one of the tallest. Which also, if you look at this, like, you could technically say Invader Zim and Lilo and Stitch universe could kind of probably be in the same universe, even though they're totally different companies and universes. They look like they could kind of be in the same universe a little bit. But and that's mostly just because of technology that like the Urkins have. But the invaders go, "No!" Or the tallest go, "No! We're not giving you a planet!" Or like, but then one of the others is like, "Hold on, let's just give him a place, then he'll leave alone." Apparently, and the reason why they're hesitant for giving him this is because the first operation to, you know, take over the galaxy was kind of failed because Zim almost destroyed their entire race and species because he got a battle droid and just started destroying everything on their own planet. Which, right in the beginning of the episode, I freaking love Zim. Because, like, I just love it. What is it? What do they say? He was saying, I blew up more than any other invader in that day. He says, "You blew up all the other invaders." That's actually, like, later on in the season. But, and there's even things like, "You set everything on fire, but I put it out. You made it worse!" Or made it better. I love this little green a-hole, this little green idiot, because, again, Zim is egotistical, which is freaking hilarious. He's a smart butt in himself sometimes. Everyone in this show is incredibly stupid, but he's funnily stupid. This show is just freaking awesome. But basically, they then say, "Okay, Zim, you know what? We're going to give you a planet." And then they give him a planet, which is basically just a stick paper. It just like presses it against the wall, saying, "That's your planet. You gotta go to that planet." And then each of these invaders are also issued a little robot droid called a Sir, which are like awesome super soldier epic battle robots, which are freaking awesome. But Zim doesn't get a Sir because, you know, the tallest don't like him. So they take an old bottle or garbage, fix it into a robot shape, and shove crap in its brain, and give it to Zim, and its name is Grr, which, if I remember correctly, Sir is like stealth information robot or something, if I remember correctly, and then Grr is actually garbage information robot. At least, I believe that's what it is, if I remember correctly. Because I heard that off the internet, so for all I know that's wrong. But Grr is one of the most funniest, is one of the stupidest, craziest, most random things ever, and I think that's also the reason why I randomly say taco every once in a while. Taco. Stupid. But, he's just freaking, Grr is just freaking hilarious. Like, I want to get, because he wears this dumb dog suit, and I'm just like, I want a hoodie of that. And I know at Hot Topic they sold some at one point. I kind of want to get one. That, and I know there's a Stitch one. I want to get a Stitch one too. But, so Zim and Grr are sent to, of course, Earth, where a paranormal investigator named Dib is heard that, oh no, the aliens are coming to take over the world. And thus kind of starts the whole thing, like his sister Gaz, the little goth girl, which I love, like, early 2000s, you can see, like, you know, Danny Phantom, Sam is goth. In this one, you have, even, like, the show itself is kind of dark, but, like, you have, Gaz is very goth, who's goth. I think Dib, you could probably consider a little bit, because he has, like, the black trench coat and everything. If not, they're trying to appeal, I guess, to the goth demographic. I don't know. But, I freaking love it. And basically then starts the whole series, where it's basically, first season, like, season 1 through, I want to say season 2, it's barely episodic, though there is continuity between each one, though, which I like. Which, like, a lot of this, you could probably, again, like, this show is dark. Like, this is basically, which I have to which I'm probably going to start watching Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, but it's like the same vein as Billy and Mandy, where it's weird, it's dark, some of the episodes the heroes don't really seem to live or make it out of it, though in the end, you can also kind of assume they do, because they never actually, if I remember correctly, they never actually show any of them die. Unlike Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, where they die like every other episode. In this one, they kind of die. If they die, if they don't really die, like, it's just like, you know, they see them alive. It's a horrible fate that's either about to happen to them, or it has happened to them, but they never actually died for it. So you can always say, like, okay, they probably escaped somehow or got out of this somehow. So you can always say that for each episode, which I kind of really like, and it really works towards the series. I don't want to go throughout all of it, but, like, it's just the darkness of this show helps a lot also with storytelling. Where, like let's say Powerpuff Girls. If the Powerpuff Girls get into a sticky situation, you kind of know in the end, yeah, they're gonna get out of it. They're gonna eventually they'll escape, or, like, they'll save the day or whatever. And I'm not talking about the reboot. I'm talking about the original. They can eventually get out and escape. In other cartoons, they have a similar fashion. But different things like, again, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, or in this war, Invader Zim, you have, because it has so many endings where it gets kind of dark, or it's like, how the fudge do they survive this? Like an episode where they get turned into baloney. FYI, there's an episode where they get turned into a baloney. It's hilarious. But, taco. But, like, because of these stuff, there is kind of suspense when there is suspense. Like, there's an episode in the later, it's like the second to last episode of this series, which is probably one of my favorites, where, also, it's great continuity with the first episode, because in the first episode, they say that because Zim kind of, you know, almost destroyed the Urkin race, they sent him to Frytopia, or whatever that is, where he basically has to be a fast food fryer, and he's exiled there. but he says he quits and becomes back to become an invader. Also, Zim then, but in the second last episode, his old boss actually comes back, grabs him, and says, "You're going back to work here." And in the ending, and like he says, like if he stays on this planet for long enough, he'll be stuck in a food rush which will last 20 years. And you know his mission and everything. But also they say that there's a time paradox or something in there, so where like time doesn't move when you're on the planet, I guess too. So he, technically, if he left after the 20 years, he probably would still come back the exact same day. But beside the point, he's stuck in this place, and it's kind of, and even like towards the ending, I don't really want to spoil too much of that one, but like towards the ending where he's about to make his escape, you see him kind of getting sucked back, and it's just like, I was honestly like, oh fudge, is he gonna get stuck there? And the reason why is because a couple things. One, we know there are dark endings to this series, like I've been bringing up already. So we know if he gets stuck on Frytopia at the end of this episode, it would still fit the series. It would still be like, oh fudge. It's still a suspense, like, crap, you don't want him to be stuck there. And that really works for, works for it. And then also another thing that also helps is, like, they said, like, a time paradox where, like, the boss was stuck over 20 years, but really it wasn't. But really, like, time moved regularly for Zim and everyone else. Sorry. So, seeing that then puts it to at least then, like, okay, so they could still have the incredibly dark ending where, like, you know, he's stuck on Frytopia or whatever, but they still have it that he, like, escapes later on. You just have some of that. And because they use the dark humor to its advantage, and I really like that. And so, like, one of my favorite episodes was a Halloween episode, where it starts off with Dib, the paranormal investigator, who's basically Zim's mortal enemy, but also his best friend. And if you don't believe me, you should check out, you can probably find the clips on YouTube. People have found or gotten the voiceovers, or, like, you know, the voices for Dib, Zim, and all them, that I guess Nickelodeon had, because they already had the voice actors do other episodes after the final episode, and you can actually find, like, those audios on YouTube. And if you're lucky, you find fans who edited and who actually animated some of them. I believe they animated one of them, and in one of the episodes, like, you just straight up, there's literally a point where it's just like their best friends, Dib and Zim. And again, it's kind of like the whole thing, like, your worst enemy is also kind of the person who knows you the most. People threw flack at me for that last time with Aku and Jack. But and again, so that's, again, I'm not saying they're not enemies, but it's also kind of like they're the ones who know kind of each other the most. They know each other the best. And and there's literally an episode where, like, Dib and Zim basically kind of go their separate ways, and then they come back at the end like, I'm gonna destroy you, Dib, and I'm gonna escape from you, Zim, laughing and stuff like that as they go into Zim's house. Like, literally, I'm just reading the comments, just one comment just says, "Kiss already!" Though I ship Zim and Gaz, because Gaz is freaking awesome, and I would love to see that. The characters are freaking epic. Again, Zim, small little green package of insanity. Gur is the insanity. Zim is just stupidly funny awesome. Though Dib is so sad and sympathetic at some points. Like, literally, I kind of want to, like, he has so many bad endings, but, like, it's just, like, he always gets the short end of the stick. And, like, he's always right, and he's the only one trying to really try to save the Earth from Zim, and you see, like, again, the second to last episode, which is one of my favorites, he's trying to point out, Zim is an alien! He has green skin. Oh, wow, his costume is horrible. It's just a wig and, like, contacts. He has no ears and all this stuff, and Dib, basically, at the end, like, beginning of this episode, when Zim gets taken away by the boss fry cook, Dib is like, see? And a bird poops on his shoulder, and all the kids go, ah, Dib has poo on his shoulder. They're all laughing, and you just see Dib look down, and right before it cuts away, you see a little tear form on his eye. I'm like, oh my gosh, Dib, stop! It's so sad because he gets the short end of the stick so much in this show. And at that point, it's just like, it looked like he was just breaking. Just like, you see the little tear. Again, Gaz is awesome. She's the I don't care sister of Dib. Always saying he's basically kind of dumb, an idiot or whatever. And even though she's the only one who probably actually believes him about Zim, because she even says multiple times, yeah, Zim's trying to take over the planet, but he's bad at it. Which Zim is definitely bad. There's hundreds of planets that just straight up fail because of either him or some other stupidity that he's done. Gaz is awesome. She's a gamer. She's a gamer character too, which I love. Who is like the darkest. Is like one of the darkest characters and one of the most hilarious because of things like there's an episode where she, which also this kid was an a-hole. When a kid basically steals her PSP, her PSP2 that she got, and I know it's supposed to be PSP because it's called a Game Slave 2, so GS. PS, PlayStation, Game Slave. And he basically steals it from her, and she then stalks the living out of him, basically pulling like a horror film, chasing after him, which I love. Or the time she beats the crud out of Dib for screwing with her. It's just a really good show. I'm trying to think. Gaz is awesome. Again, and it's just, I don't know, I just really like the character itself. She and Mandy would probably become best friends, I think, and it'd be freaking hilarious. Let's see, who else is there? Gur, again, just freaking hilarious. This little robot is so effing random, but it's usually always funny. Like, there's a point where Zim is about to be abducted by aliens, and like the aliens have a sack. And Zim goes, Gur! The aliens! Gur goes, shoot, shoot! Does the salute, jumps right in the sack. I'm just like, it's just like out of nowhere. It's just like, okay, that's pretty funny. Like, if you haven't watched the show before, watch it and try to predict what Gur will do, and you will probably be amazed. Because you will, it's like, Gur, call the boss, call and tell him to save us. Save me! Gur's like, yes! Grabs a kite, runs out the door, and goes, she's like, what? I'm gonna sing the Doom song now. Dib's father in himself is just like a father that's not really there and always talks to a screen, which also, there's a theory, I believe, if I remember correctly, there's a theory, and if anything, I really like, because this show, I'm pretty sure it actually has, and if I remember correctly hearing from reading stuff on the internet, this show itself has an actual story too. Like, it has the kind of what Adventure Time did before Adventure Time, a little bit before Adventure Time, where all these episodes are very episodic, but there actually is kind of a story being brewed up. Like, also, the tallest, who are basically dumb idiots. They're basically Pleakley if he wanted to take over the world. At least one of them is. If he wanted to take over the planet and love snacks and everything, and the other one's kind of the exact same way, just kind of smarter, I think. A little bit. And they're just kind of a-holes to each other and to everyone else. But, like one of them, if I remember correctly, is that one of the reasons why they don't like Zim, one, because he always tried to destroy the planet, and also two, because I think Zim is actually supposed to take over for them, or take over for them or something, become like the next leader, if I remember correctly. And there's also little things spread out throughout the series, and that's just reading off of that stuff. Another thing that's kind of like that I read off the series is that Dib may not even be actually human. And I remember reading this off remember reading this off the internet as well, and also like even like Bleedman, the guy who made the Powerful Girls no Shinji, also had like a bit of a story into it, or maybe the writer at least of that one. I think Bleedman probably just draws it. Had a little bit of a story of that too. That Dib and like his family actually aren't even human either. Which, one, would be freaking amazing if that was the case. Because, again, like, and one thing that kind of fits towards this is, one, the father being almost, I believe, the same height as the tallest. People say, like, that he himself was probably an Urkin himself. And then another one being, or at least, at least Dib's mother is probably Urkin. And that's kind of also how Membrane, Dib's father, is, did I say Zim or Dib? Dib's father is, so technologically advanced because he had Urkin help. And because he's a scientist who's freaking hilarious. And also being that inside of, at one episode where Zim goes inside of Dib, Zim controls Dib from inside his belly, his arm controls in his belly. And Dib goes, humans don't have arm controls in their belly. Which you could kind of throw that as a throwaway joke. But then also if you think about it, at least, I don't know. Basically, if you think about it, that kind of leads a little more to like, wait, is he human? Because that would then kind of lead more, especially since his dad also like always kind of dismisses all of dismisses everything that happens in this show with like with the aliens saying like, there's no such thing as paranormal, all that stuff. You're just crazy. It could be him covering it up for like, you know, like, hey, shut the fuck up. They're gonna dissect you, something like that. Like the show, I don't want to talk too much about as well as I was, even though I probably have, but the show is epic. Again, the character also, another character that I wish kind of came back, and again, like the last season, you can kind of see that they were kind of going for a more solid story. And honestly, if like they redid the show now, it probably would be like, you know, Adventure Time. Each one, you know, doing an 11-minute episode every other week or whatever, and still having it to where, and having like this bigger overarching story, where that season 3 has the most continuity between all the episodes. At one point, they even bring up the Baloney episode, so that just shows that yeah, they found a way to reverse engineer that crap, so they're not Baloney. And also on the other hand, the Tak ship, who Tak is another invader, a female invader, to Zim, who Zim first thought was in love with him. Turns out no, Tak wants to destroy Zim because Zim basically trapped her in this room by accident, mind you. Trapped her in this room on the other side of the planet of where you become invader, and she's been cleaning up planet dirt for the last 50 years, and now she's come back for revenge. And that episode is one of my favorites. All season 3 honestly has some of my favorite episodes in it, which that was when they really went more story based with everything. They still kept the continuity of everything else, like the Urkin's weakness to meats as well as to water. Water burns them, and meat burns them as well, but also starts melding with their skin. It's a freaking awesome show. The art style is always great. It's always like a dark... Wait, let me get back to Tak. Tak itself is a freaking awesome character, and she gets sent off into space, if I remember correctly, with her SUR unit. And she basically disappears completely, but her ship crash lands onto Earth. Dib finds it, and basically throughout season 3, he's working on the ship. He's trying to fix it. And you see Tak's mind is copied into the ship too, which I was like, okay, that'd be kind of awesome. Like, you could have Tak there without having Tak there, and that would have been kind of cool. That would have been kind of a cool thing. But again, the series kind of ended before anything else could kind of further along that plot, and did kind of erase them. I think he erased the memory or just like pushed the memories of Tak, decided to put his own memories in there, and later on that got erased. But that was like the most continuity, and those were like some of my favorite episodes where it was bigger, it felt grander, and again, like the series itself is so dark, and the colors of it is too. It's always dark and nasty. The people of this world are effing crazy. I think it's supposed to take place kind of in the future. Like, you see things spelled wrong sometimes, and I mean that like it's supposed to be officially be that. Like, it will be like pole ice, and this is just an example, but like is that like POLE and then ice or something like that. it'd be like something stupid like that. That's just an example of some of the screwed up things. Some like at one point, like in there's class, like some kids are just like sent to the underground classroom, which I'm pretty sure is just a hole in the ground. You have at one point where Zim is put into a gun to fight the Lice Queen, hilarious, and shoots it, and then at the end, the lady who has the gun pulls him out, and you just see like his bottom half is just like basically like nerve endings, like green nerve endings, and you just see him going, ah, just screaming. It's, if you want dark humor and some funny storytelling and all that, and you know, just like fun awesomeness, go check this show out. It's awesome. They have all the episodes on Hulu right now. I'm not sponsored. Hey Hulu, sponsor me. But yeah, like they're gonna hear this. They're gonna hear this idiot talking about cartoons. But the series is awesome. The music is pretty epic. I love the theme song where it sounds kind of like the Star Wars dun 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 dun, but one mixed with a little bit of, I don't know if it's techno at the end, but and like it has that similar feel, like the march of the Sith march kind of feel, but still having it where it's its own thing, having its it's the orchestrate kind of stuff, and I freaking love that theme song. The characters are awesome, and also another thing I wanted to say about them is like, no matter who the main focus is, you kind of like, at least to me, I liked them. Like when Dib was trying to, it's like you kind of want to see Zim succeed because, you know, he's the main character, and two, he's one of the main characters, and two, he's just freaking awesome little character, and especially if you think about it, like he was exiled. He's put to become a fry cook, but he wants to be something bigger. He wants to be an invader. He wants to show his leaders, hey, look, I'm this. And heck, he doesn't even have parents too, because like Urkins are just backpack on their back of a small alien body and brought to life, basically. And the backpack itself is actually all of him, if you learn later on in some of the unreleased episodes. That's like exactly him. His body himself is not, that body is technically not even his, if you want to consider it, because at one point the backpack in the unreleased episodes attaches to Dib and is going to turn Dib into Zim. So it's kind of like this character, you can kind of think it's kind of very sympathetic, and you know, he wants to show, hey, I'm an invader, I can take over, and like you're like, yeah, you can do it, Zim, do it. But then you're also like, wait, you're trying to take over the Earth too. Wait, hold on. And Dib is the guy who's trying to save the Earth, but he's again fighting against Zim, who like, you're like, okay, no, but Zim actually is the bad guy in this, but you're also the bad guy. But wait, but then also you're like, you see Dib like he's trying to like, hey guys, look, I'm trying to save, like trying to tell everyone, hey, I'm trying to save you all, and they're like, get off, screw off, weirdo with a big head. Which is a friggin' running joke at, like, in season 2. There is a big head, which I'm just thinking, half of you people have big heads. What are you talking about? But Dib, in the end, like, at a point where, like, Dib starts crying a bit. And it's just, like, just so sad, like, seeing, like, him kind of slowly breaking. And even, like, I'm trying to think, like, Gaz. Gaz becomes more, like, active with Dib and everything towards as the series goes on, which I kind of like. Even though Gaz just wants nothing to do with him, I love seeing Gaz there, and a couple of Gaz episodes there are freaking hilarious. And even like the dad himself, who is again very kind of distant, barely is ever there. Whenever something like ever happens to his kids, he is actually still there trying to help them, which I love. So like what is it? I'm probably rambling, so I'm gonna end this episode soon. I'm sorry, but like an episode where Dib basically comes completely immobilized, gives him a robot body. It's like, or a point where Gaz has pig mouth, where he only tastes pig food, no matter what. He basically tries all he can to try to help her. It's, I don't know, it's an effed up series. The world itself is freaking hilarious, just how stupid and effed up people are in this. Like, you just have to watch it to figure it out, but Series is awesome. I've probably been rambling for way too effing long, so I'll end this episode here. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see what it is that I've done, there's links around my face, subscription buttons over there somewhere. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully, check out the series, and can't wait for Invader Zim, the movie, to come out. Thanks for watching, and we will. See you later. I can sing the Doom song now. Doom, 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 doom.